Link for Growth South West Herts TV show. As usual, we have a full and packed show for you, reporting on the events that have happened in and around Watford in the past week or so. Plus, Catherine will have a preview of some of the events that are coming up in the near future. Tania, there's been quite a busy week, especially in South Oxhey, and there's also news with better flood prevention.
Yeah, hi, hello everybody. We've been talking about this South Oxhey development for months and months and months and months and months and months and months. And last night was the busy night, the 17th, and the District Council have approved all of the planning for South Oxhey, so we'll have a look at that later. Richard Harrington in Watford is talking about better flood protection, and he thinks that dredging the rivers is the way to go about that. And most exciting of all, personally speaking, all of the big Watford Word Fest thing is starting, and we've had a fantastic start to it with the Dial celebrations, Roll Dial celebrations in the centre of Watford recently, just absolutely spectacular. So yeah, lots to talk about.
Okay, thank you for that. And Neal, it's been a big week for Watford in the past week, and you'll also be talking about some other bits and pieces as well.
Yeah, massive result for Watford. We'll be talking about how we got through to the semi-final of the FA Cup, and we'll be previewing tomorrow's game and some local sport.
Okay, that sounds fabulous. And Catherine, the Palace is a theatre, but soon they're showing films.
Yes, yeah, we've got films, we've got shows. We've got a story competition. We've got all sorts of cultural things going on in and around Watford. So I shall be telling you more about that later.
Okay, that's great. And Chris, where are you this week? Hello, Chris. Okay, well, we did have Chris, and suddenly he seems to have disappeared, unfortunately. But Chris is going to be talking about Link for Business at Fresh in the next, which launches a week today, which is very exciting news. Oh, you're with us, Chris. No, he's gone. We've obviously got a few gremlins trying to get hold of Chris. I don't know what's happened there, but anyway, so we'll skip over Chris's brief intro, and I'll just very briefly talk about Link for Growth events in the past week. The Monday saw a Link for Coffee at Reason Cafe, which I think was quite well attended in the morning, and Croxley Green had Link for Coffee at the kitchen as usual on Tuesday. Unfortunately, Chris wasn't there to be able to taste the lemon drizzle cake. His attentions were elsewhere, so we'll no doubt have to find out from someone who went as to how good the lemon drizzle cake was. And last night we had a Link for Drinks, and it was probably the best attended one that we've had for the last couple of months, with about 24 people turning up throughout the course of the evening. I think everyone had a good time. Catherine?
Yes, I think it was very enjoyable. Thank you, Diane.
Right, okay. Chris?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can now. I was just saying that this time next week, or rather Thursday evening next week, sees the start of Link for Business in Watford. And you're in the Fresh Cafe shop in Market Street, and you want to talk about Link for Business with Dean Fowler, who's heading up in Watford.
Yeah, I'm actually in the Fresh shop at the moment. I don't know whether you can see the back. We've got a Christmas tree here at the moment as well. But yeah, I'm here in the shop. So this is exactly where it's going to all be taking place this time. Well, would it be this time? No, it'll be last night actually. A week ago yesterday, yeah. So yeah, the day before Good Friday, and yeah, it's going to be the 10th actual Link for Business event that we've got running. So a bit of a milestone there as well, and happening here in Watford.
Okay, and we've talked a little bit about Link for Business before with various people and everything, but perhaps you could remind people what actually is Link for Business and what are its aims.
Well, I'm not going to tell you what Link for Business is. I'm going to get Jean Flower to tell me what Link for Business is. Now, Jean is actually with me. I'm hoping that you can see her on your screen now.
You can.
So I'm going to ask the questions because I can hear them. So, Jean, what is Link for Business? Tell us what it is.
Link for Business is an exciting new networking group. It's launching because we've got lots of things going on in the community, as you already know, and we wanted to bring something for the local businesses where we could, network, grow community, raise awareness of local businesses, encouraging buy local, and also to pool resource for businesses so that we can help the community, charities, and other local businesses.
So we've got typical business networking where basically it's for profit and people come together and they get the opportunity to pretty much just meet each other on a either weekly or monthly basis. So why is Link for Business different, do you think? What's the things that we're doing in Link for Business that make it a bit different?
Well, I think we like to call it evolved business networking because we've evolved from perhaps what was traditional business networking as we knew it. There are lots of groups out there, we know that, they do breakfast, they do lunches, they do evenings. Most of them are run for profit, which means that the needs of the business owners aren't always met. Link for Business offers a great resource. We've got obviously our Link for Skills, which we can support small businesses with in terms of social media or other technical issues. We've got the local TV show where obviously businesses can really grasp that and use it and go out there and promote themselves and raise funds and do all sorts of things as we already are. We've got the online mentoring group, which is yet to really take off. But I was only speaking to somebody at the Link for Business in Arundel the other evening, and they really are excited about the online mentoring groups because they want to talk about their businesses. That they feel that they've got stupid questions, silly concerns about their business, and they just want someone to talk to in confidence so that they can actually really understand where their business is going wrong and get the support that they need to nurture it forward.
Okay, and we've got this concept going on with Link for Business about building a club of local businesses, which I remember when I first started going networking, one of the things that I wanted to do was kind of get all the local businesses to feel like they belong to something, belong to the town, if like business community. And the trouble with commercial networking is that basically if you try to get someone like the mayor or someone like the MP for Watford involved, they can't really because it's for profit. And they can't, but with Link for Business, because it's aimed at improving the commercial element of the town, and it's good for the town because if the businesses are doing well, the community is doing well, then we've got a real opportunity here to really sort of whip up, if you were, the local businesses into really helping each other and coming together in a bit of unity. And that's something that that's one of the things I think that we're really striving for. The thing you mentioned earlier in terms of buy local, there are lots and lots of businesses in Watford, 3,000 or so small micro businesses who are either sole traders or businesses with less than 5 employees. And there's a real opportunity here, would you say, to get that group of people to really start to collaborate and gel together rather than be competitively fighting against each other?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a great opportunity for particularly, maybe some of the market traders that they've already said that there really wasn't really a local traders association in place. Some of the big boys, as we would say, the larger organisations, don't really include middle to small size businesses. And I think there's an awful lot of collaboration that has already happened and can continue to happen, where it's really really is a win-win situation for everybody, and that's what Evolve Networking is really about.
We're going to talk about the coffee shop union a bit later on, but how often is this group going to meet? That's the first one.
This particular group here at Fresh, it's launching, as I say, next Thursday. It's going to meet on a monthly basis, and it's aimed around particularly those businesses that are working in central business. The idea behind it is that they don't need to go home, perhaps leave their cars where they're already parked, and just come over to Fresh. And Fresh has tea and coffee and cakes and sandwiches, and it actually has a licence also for those that may wish to stay afterwards and have a glass of wine and wind down. We've done really well already on the numbers that are wanting to attend this particular event. So again, it may be that we do consider other timings that might suit people better. One or two people have said that unfortunately they can't do evenings, so they would prefer a breakfast meeting. So we'll look at that and consider the numbers going forward.
So we've got here, I'm just going to pan around here, we've got some quite comfy chairs here. I know some people were inquiring the other day as to what this actually looks like. So we're going to have to do a little bit of rearranging down here, but we've got a maximum limit of 25 people for the events here. But we're allowing, I think it's 28 to book in, just in case a few don't turn up.
Yeah, and this is going to be relatively informal. We don't want to sit around a board table. We want to be welcoming, and I want to encourage conversation for everybody that attends.
Fantastic. What's the format? Is it because our coffee events and our drinks events, as we saw last night, pretty informal? What's the format of this? Is it literally just come and have conversations, or is there more structure to it?
There is a little bit more of a structure to it. So basically there's some open networking on arrival, then there's an introduction, and we will have two speakers. I think Tania's actually agreed to speak on this one here at Watford, so thank you, Tania. We also have Simon Cox as the other speakers. So the two speaker slots, one is educational, so something of interest to anybody that's attending, and one that's a little bit more upbeat and a bit inspirational, and give a little bit more of a positive spin on things. After that, there's an opportunity for everybody to introduce themselves, say what business they're in, and obviously what type of client or what type of business they're looking for, followed by a little bit of almost, well, not speed networking basically, but a kind of one-to-one with another person in the room for 5 minutes, so that you can really have a chance on a one-to-one basis to get to know each other a little bit more deeply, and then after that there's a little bit more open networking and a finish, but people can stay on in this venue longer if they so wish.
Excellent. And is there any costs for attending this one for the first one? So I suppose most people are going to be attending for the first time. There is a £12 charge, I know, but for the first one they can get it for free.
Yeah, the first one is a free event, and thereafter we would ask a subscription of £12 a month, but that's inclusive of the £3 link for a growth subscription that you may be paying already. So I think, for £12 a month, with the resource that I've already mentioned, the online mentoring groups, the link for skills, the introduction to obviously a nationwide body of people, I think that's a fantastic offer.
And they can go to more than one event. Obviously we've only got one event here at the moment, but I know there are some over here, things like places like Rice and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But we are looking here to grow this quite quickly, so hopefully in the next couple of months we'll have another couple of events up and running, and people can take their pick, hopefully.
That'd be fantastic, yes.
Brilliant. Okay, so anything else from you, Diane, that you want to ask Jean?
Just if people are interested and want to book in a future events, how do they do it, and how do they find the links to book in?
Okay, so Diane's just asked, how do people book in? Where do they go?
Okay, yeah, no, that's really important as well, because we do need to keep tabs on numbers. So for all of those existing Link for Business members, as well as anybody else, we're encouraging to book through Eventbrite. There are various links going out on Facebook and on Twitter, and you can obviously go to the website, and if you look at the diary there and look under the 24th of March, you will actually see the event listed there, and obviously if you click on the link it will take you straight through to the Eventbrite page where you can book. So book fast, because spaces are limited.
I think there's only about 10 spaces left. If people do want to book, the code for the first one, because you can use a code to book for the first time, is 1ST, S for sugar, T for trendy, 1ST, visit. So first visit, and if you put that in and apply it, it will take the price down to 0, and you can book in there and take your spot. There are only 10 spaces left. I just checked before I came out. So if anybody on this show is booked in, Tania, Diane,
please do so.
Please do so. Otherwise, you won't be there.
I am trying to do it as you speak.
Nice. Anything else, Diane, or shall I pass control back to you?
No, I think that's it for now. Chris, just to say, the Fresh is on Market Street, isn't it? Next to the Ask Pizzeria restaurant.
It is. It's there, and it's downstairs. And yeah, so next week, next Thursday, 24, 6:30 p.m. Come to the site.
Sorry, Chris, was that 6 or 6:30?
Sorry, say again?
Was that 6 or 6:30?
6:30 p.m. So,
thank you. Okay, well,
all right.
look forward to hearing more about that, and you're coming back a bit later on to talk about the launch of the coffee evening, yeah?
I am indeed, yeah. So thanks to Jean.
You're welcome.
And I'll see you a bit later on.
Okay, great. Well, after Tania's done her bit on the news, we'll come back to you. Okay, Tania, hi.
There we go. It helps if I unmute myself. Yes, hello, Diane. I think I've just done it, so I'm now booked on Link for Business next Thursday. How good's that?
Okay, well, that sounds really good, and it's really lucky since you're giving the talk, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Chris did say that I could get out of the talk by not booking in. I did think about it, but then you go. It'll be fun. It'll be fun.
Right, okay. Now, we've been, as you said in the trailer, for your series of articles, we have been talking about this for quite a while, and in January we talked about how the plans for the South Oxhey Initiative have been submitted and everything. Well, finally last night they were approved.
That's right. They were approved resoundingly. Everybody agreed, unanimous vote, and the work will start on the estate in October. So yeah, this is the end of 9 months hard work, but there's still an awful lot of bricks to be put together, and mortar to be made, and roofing to be done, and paving to be laid. So there's an awful lot of work still to be done. And of course, with South Oxhey being the largest residential area in Three Rivers, with about 18,000 residents there, it's going to be an awfully big development for an awful lot of people. The area is about 60 years old, and it's going to be a whole new redevelopment, nice and bright and glass fronted and shiny new places down there in South Oxhey, which is round the corner from where I used to live. I'm very sorry that I shan't be close to it anymore. Yeah, lovely developments, and the Three Rivers District Council website has got lots and lots of news and pictures and a timeline and all sorts of things there. You can sign up to their newsletter just to keep in touch with what's going on. I'm sure actually the people who live in that area have probably already done that, and they probably get lots of things through their doors to tell them what's going on. But yes, there were 2 planning things looked at last night there for South Oxhey Central, Maylands Road, Hayling Road and Hallows Crescent, and both of them were resoundingly approved. So really good news there for all of those people living down in South Oxhey, and everyone that will be shopping down there in the new shopping centre when that's fully built.
Yeah, and Lidl's, it was announced a couple of weeks ago, are the supermarket they're going to be moving into South Oxhey, which is a brand that I think is definitely on the up.
Yeah, Lidl's. I hadn't heard that, Diane. So yeah, well that's cool. At least it's not one of the very big central ones. So yeah, cool.
And
I've got a few more local traders myself, but you know, if we've got to have a supermarket, whatever.
hopefully the supermarket attracts everyone, and then they find the local traders around the corners and scattered around. Because one of the things they have got to do is they've got to finalise the final design of the actual buildings, but the overall scheme has been approved, which is for 500 plus residential dwellings in the shopping parade area.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. They've done lots and lots of public consultation on this, and what they found was that 63% of the public were in favour of the development. They held lots of meetings and opportunities for people to comment, and there was strong support for the additional new housing, a larger food store, so that snookers me, doesn't it? Improved public and green spaces, and the overall proposal for redevelopment. But people were concerned about parking, building heights and density, disrupting to existing retail, affordability, the detail of relocation arrangements, I guess both for people and for businesses, and the community facilities. So I'm sure those things have now been worked out, and a revised proposal has been put forward and accepted last night. So there you go.
Yep, and it's going to be built in a couple of phases, and the final phase ends in October 2022.
Looking forward to it, Dan. It's a way away, but I'm sure we will go round there and find the coffee shop, hopefully a member of the coffee union, and enjoy a cappuccino there.
Yeah, exactly. Who knows? Who knows? Now, the Colne River down at the bottom, round by Quick Fit and B&Q area and that sort of area, and around Tesco's and everything, is very prone to flooding. And Richard Harrington has made calls to try that the water board, the water company, should do something to try and alleviate this problem.
That's right, yeah. So I remember I was looking at a flat down there by the playing fields down there, and yeah, it had flooded a couple of years earlier, and it had been right up and almost into the ground floor of that building. So yeah, it is an issue for people. Of course, this year there was flooding all over the Tesco's at I tend to think there's a bit of a clue in the name, the Waterfields development down there, because it is an old meadow area. So yes, there has been considerable flooding in the area, and Richard, love him, thinks that flooding can be stopped with more dredging. Now, I think actually there are better and more sustainable ways to prevent flooding, as we talked about earlier in the year. Planting trees, for example, is a much more sustainable way of doing it. But there you go, Richard is looking after local people and trying to reduce the risk of flooding in the local area. So he's asking that something be done. His suggestion is dredging.
Now, for those who don't know, floods don't affect you because you live on a boat.
That's right, yeah. Yeah, I just float a little bit higher on the canal. Although I have seen canal boats on their side, having the canals actually having overflown and lifted the boats onto the land, so that when the canal water subsides again, actually they've ended up upside down or on their side or something else. So it can affect us, but it's very, very unlikely.
Okay, that's great. And Watford and Hertsmere have both commemorated Commonwealth Day.
Yeah, they have. This is quite a nice little story, really. So the Commonwealth's made up of 53 states working together in mutual support towards a shared goals of democracy, development and respect for diversity. And I think those things are pretty consistent with Link for Growth's ideas and values too. The Commonwealth includes some of the world's largest, smallest, richest and poorest communities, with 2 billion citizens from all faiths and all ethnicities. So it's a really diverse partnership group of people. It may have come from, you know, a bad place in the past, but now I think probably it's quite a good, positive partnership to help us move forward in a small world, in a multicultural world, in a multi-faith world, and in a world where working together, working in partnership is a much better idea than working in competition, much like Link for Business, actually, that we were talking about earlier. So to celebrate this, now really quite helpful institution, let's call it an institution, there's been flags raised all over the country, and one of them was in Hartsbourne, at Hartsbourne Primary School. One of the children from Hartsbourne Primary School at Hartsmere helped the mayor to celebrate Commonwealth Day, and again at Watford there was another flag raising event to celebrate Commonwealth Day at the Town Hall, Watford Town Hall, on Monday this week, the 14th of March. So really nice to get all of that development and partnership work in there. One of the other things that's happened this week, again on Monday, was the single commemorative act for a much, much sadder thing, the First World War. So there's now a second electric candle added to the one left last year at Watford Town Hall, symbolising the second year of the First World War and in memory of those who died during the conflict. Very, very sad, something that we don't want to forget, but actually something that we need to work really quite hard, because it's still happening now. Those deaths and all of that fighting still happening now. It's about time we learn something different, I think, Diane.
Okay. And on a happier note, the big Wordfest got kind of really up and running with a Ronald Dahl celebration.
Oh, I know, it's so exciting, so exciting. So the big Wordfest is a really, really exciting development. We heard about it, I think Catherine told us about it a couple of weeks ago, and there's masses on throughout Watford for the next couple of weeks. And lots of presentations, lots of discussions from different authors and for people in the literary world. There's even one from the Watford Hospital radio station. So lots and lots of diverse spoken word and written word events. One of them that's particularly caught my eye is about Shakespeare, wandering about town for Shakespeare. So we're going, this brilliant festival is going from the BFG last weekend to Shakespeare in a couple of weekends' time. So this particular event was part of the first ever literary festival, and it started at Watford Museum and finished at Watford Central Library. And it sounds like a really big parade. I didn't attend it myself, but it sounds great fun. Lots of people, lots of family taking part in making a huge sculpture of the BFG. Plus, really exciting, 14 of Dahl's best loved characters actually took part leading the silly parade through the town centre. So there was Willy Wonka there, the Oompa Loompas were there, the witches, the twits and the BFG trooped its way through the high street, through the Into Centre. Now what must that have looked like? How brilliant must that have looked? Up the parade and into the library, where at least 300 more joined the fun along the way. So thousands of people, hundreds of people, I'm exaggerating of course, 800 people trooping through the town behind the BFG. How good would that have been? What fun. Great way to get kids learning and reading and enjoying that sort of thing.
Yep. And of course, this time next week it will be Good Friday, and that means it's time for Easter eggs. And one of the things with Easter eggs is they come with an awful lot of packaging, and Watford Council are reminding us to, in their words, to take extra special care to recycle this Easter.
Oh, if only my ears had been covered by that. Yes, extra special care. I went out and bought some Easter eggs for our Friday morning networking meeting last night, and yeah, some of them have got masses of blooming packaging. They're first of all in a foil, and then they're in a plastic, and then they've got another bag inside that's different plastic, and then they're in a box. Some of them are really, really heavily packaged. Some of them I noticed, and some of the ones that I bought, are much less heavily packaged, just in a little foil thing. So when you're buying Easter eggs, you can keep the packaging to a minimum, but if you get the packaging, and you know, some of us want the Easter eggs that are in all of that packaging, then please make sure, as we're reminded by Watford Government, that the majority of your packaging can be recycled in your blue lidded recycling bin. So clean foil, that can all go in the bins, cardboard boxes, plastic tubs and trays, you can recycle all of that in your recycling bins, the blue lidded bins. So there's paper, plastic bottles, food tins, drinks cans, aerosols, cartons, glass bottles and jars. I hope you're not getting any aerosols for Easter, mind, but who knows? Who knows? Put as much recycling as you like using in clearly labelled or clear plastic bags if you can't fit it all in your recycling bins. But you don't really want to put glass in plastic bags. Put that in the lidded bin because breakages could be quite dangerous. So anyway, all of that stuff, please recycle healthily.
Okay, that's great. Now, Three Rivers have announced that the cost of parking permits is going to rise.
Yeah, another one of these increasing cost stories here, Diane. Three Rivers District Council currently operate the parking schemes around Three Rivers at a loss. And of course what they're saying is that loss therefore takes money away from other things that the money could be spent on. For example, social services and looking after the vulnerable people in our community. So they've determined that over the next 2 years they're going to eliminate the deficit, and their first step to doing that is to increase the cost of permits. So anyone in the Three Rivers area that currently buys a permit, they currently cost between £44 and £80 for residential, and that's going to be raising to £60. And for reduced cost permits, currently 25 squids, that's going to go up to 30. The business, the second permits, so if you've got a second one in the household, currently £110. No, it's going to increase to £110. The current, yes, I've told you that already. I've told you that already. There you go. The business ones are increasing to £450 plus VAT. As I say, they're saying that this is going to help them to move the deficit so that it's not taking money from other services that the council provides that it really wants to put more effort into.
Okay, that's great. There's feedback somewhere.
I'm not getting feedback, sorry.
Okay. Very briefly then, I know Boreham Wood is slightly out of area, but it's more like Central Hearts and South West Hearts, but there's been an award for a building in Boreham Wood that focuses on community building.
That's right, yeah. Yeah, nice little award, and I think actually when this building opened, we featured it on the programme as well because it's about a community building resource in the area. So yes, Boreham Wood Community Facility at 96 Shenley Road has been highly commended for design excellence at the prestigious Hertfordshire Building Futures 2015 award ceremony. So yeah, really nice local building, well designed, part of Hertsmere's rebuilding of community rebuilding of the area, and really good resource for the community, has been given that highly commended for its design excellence award. Really, really nice to see that that's happening here. The community hub, they say, is an impressive building and has proved to be a huge boon for Boreham Wood and beyond, attracting people of all ages and of all sorts for leisure and cultural pursuits. So it's really good news.
Okay, that's absolutely fab. Thanks very much, Tania, for all of that news. I mean, it's quite a lot of it this week. Neal, are you there?
Hello, hello.
Oh, good, you are there. Neil, now I suppose there's really only one place to start. And I was going to say that was at Kings Langley at Aylesbury. No, I'm joking. At Arsenal Football Ground last Sunday afternoon.
Yes, a stunning victory for Watford. It was always going to be a tough game going to the Emirates, and Watford haven't won there for 27 years, I believe it is. It could be wrong, but it's a long time. And it wasn't too difficult in the end. We controlled them well. Quique Sanchez-Flores sent the team out with a plan to make the Arsenal go wide, which they don't like doing. They like to play through the middle and put the ball in the box, and he backed our defenders to keep the ball out, and they did just that. And then within 13 minutes in the second half, we were 2-0 up through goal from Igalu and an absolute screamer from Guardiola, one of the all-time fastest goals. And if you get a chance to watch it on YouTube, please do. I mean, it almost broke the back of the net. It was amazing. Arsenal did come back into it with a very well-worked goal from Welbeck, and we had a lot of pressure on us, but only for the last 5 minutes. And Troy Deeney says, if you go to Arsenal and only have 5 minutes of pressure, you're doing well. And yes, we're through to the semi-final.
That's absolutely brilliant. And of course, the other piece of news is it wasn't achieved without any controversy, was it? I mean, Gabriel's tackle on Deeney has been labelled a disgrace by many in the media.
Yeah, it was absolutely shocking. 2 feet off the ground, studs up, could have broke his leg easily. Referee was right there and saw it and did nothing about it. It was a really poor decision, and you could see Troy Deeney speaking to the referee afterwards saying, if that was me, I would have been booked. So yeah, terrible decision by the referee.
Okay, now the interesting part is that on Monday evening, after the day after the game, Watford got drawn with Crystal Palace in the semi-final, and this game is at Wembley.
Yeah, we're Watford fans are really looking forward to this one. Time for some revenge. A few years ago, most Watford fans would have been at Wembley watching a dire performance by the team, to tell the truth, and it was a very dull game, and an ex-Hornet stepped up on the penalty spot, and we didn't get promoted to the Premiership. But that's all in the past. We're in the Premiership, we're safe, we're in the FA Cup semi-final, and we've got a chance to turn it round. And also, it gives us a chance, if we do win that one, to redeem ourselves, hopefully, against Everton in the final.
Well, I know football supporters have long memories, but can you really remember back to 1984?
Oh, indeed I can. Andy Gray cheating to score a goal and beat Watford. So yeah, we want to put that one right as well.
Okay, great. So the interesting thing about the Palace, though, is that, of course, the Palace game is, of course, that it is at Wembley. Do you think that demeans the final being at Wembley? I mean,
yeah, I absolutely do, and I don't know many fans who disagree. It started off as a trend when Arsenal played Tottenham, and it made sense to have it at Wembley because there were two massive clubs and they needed a big stadium. But to have semi-finals at Wembley when it's not needed, it takes a little bit out of the final day as far as I'm concerned. So I'd rather it have been a neutral ground.
Yeah. And of course, both Watford and Palace have played each other home and away this season, and each time it's been the away team that's won. So it could be a really interesting game, couldn't it?
Yeah, it will be. They're a good team. Their league form's been on the slide, but in the cup they've been playing really well. Both games were tight, very tight games, and I don't see why it would be any difference in the semi-final. Obviously, this one, my heart's definitely saying Watford are going to win it, but it'll be a really close game. It could go either way. It's whoever turns up something a little bit special on the day, maybe a bit like Guardiola's goal, and that'll probably be what decides it.
Well, nearer the time, I'll talk a little bit more about it. But Sir Elton John, Troy Deeney is saying he'd like to see Sir Elton John at the semi-final.
Yeah, he's been to Watford once this season already to open the Elton John stand, and he keeps in constant touch and sends his best wishes. And he did go to the playoff final, I believe. So it'd be really nice to get him out on the pitch, walking around and gee the crowd up a little bit. It's always good to see Elton.
Okay, that's great. Moving on a little bit to other Watford news this week before we preview tomorrow's game. Kichy Sanchez Flores is saying this is probably one of Watford's most important seasons ever.
Yeah, so Watford have been in the Premiership in the top flight a few times, but this time we've actually got a chance to stabilise ourselves as a regular Premiership team, which is the goal really, and it's important that it happened this season because the Premiership money is going up next year, and it's going to become more difficult to break in. So the fact that we've so early in the season made ourselves safe and in the FA Cup final, it gives us a chance to build for next season, and we can become a very established team.
And it seems that Watford have even got admirers in Madrid.
Yes. So, let me get the guy's name. Who was it? Former Quique Sanchez Flores teammate, Manuel Sanchez, who was played the all-time number of games for Real Madrid, phoned up to compliment him on the win and what the job he's doing at Watford, and he's even invited the under-16 team over to Real Madrid to play in a tournament. So the Watford word is getting spread far and wide, and it's mainly thanks to the Pozzos and Quique Sanchez Flores.
Yep, and there's actually been a lot of talk about, now this is probably just media talk, about whether or not he's going to stay beyond the end of the season and how many big clubs might be coming after him for, because they want him as their manager following his successes here.
Yeah, there's bound to be media talk over someone who's been so successful in the first year, and he does only have a 2-year contract. That's a policy of the Pozzos. They don't like to give managers long contracts, just in case something goes wrong. But I would be surprised if he did leave. When you hear him speak all the time, he's always saying how much he loves Watford, how much he loves the town. His kids are really settled here, and he doesn't want to move them around anymore. So he sounds like he's in it for the long haul to me. You never know in football. Someone come in with a majorly special offer for him, a big club like Chelsea or something. You never know. But to me, I would expect to see him next season because he keeps calling it a project. And he seems to me like the sort of person who'd like to see a project through to the end.
So you think we can just be dismissed as paper talk?
Yeah, they're gonna renegotiate his contract in the summer, and he'll get another couple of years at least, and he'll get a much improved pay packet, I'm sure, and a big bonus for what he's done this season as well. So yeah, he's got the trust of the board, and they're giving him the money he wants to spend. He's doing a good job. I don't see any reason for anything to change really.
Okay, that's great. Whilst it's great for Watford, it's been a great season for Watford and everything, there have been the odd disappointment along the way, and perhaps one of the biggest ones for Watford fans is that Troy Deeney didn't make the England squad.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because he is one of the best link-up players in the league. He could work very well with any number of the other England forwards, and with Rooney being injured, there was hope amongst the Watford fans we'd get to see him in an England shirt, but he hasn't been picked for the 2 friendlies. And although Roy Hodgson's saying the door's still open to new players to break through, highly unlikely this close to the tournament that he'll make the squad, barring injuries maybe. I don't understand the selection of Sturridge by Roy Hodgson rather than Deeney, because he's a player who's proved time and time again that he's not up for the fight. He's always injured. Doesn't like playing in pain. Opposite of everything Troy Deeney is, and I think they would have been wiser to take Troy Deeney instead of Sturridge.
Okay, and Stephen Berghouse has been talking about his struggles at Watford.
Yeah, he's an unfortunate chap, Steve Berghouse. We signed him at the end of the transfer period, so we'd already done our pre-season tour, and Flores had his plan in mind, and Berghouse hasn't been able to fit in. He was on the bench a few times and came on and didn't really impress. And part of the problem is we're not playing a formation that really has a winger in it, and that's his natural game. He isn't someone who's naturally a defender, so it's very difficult to see how he does fit into the squad at all this season, which is a real shame for him because he's meant to be a talent. He's getting some games in the under-21s, but that's not really what he wants. He wants to be in the full squad. He did choose not to go on loan in January, so he's obviously happy to fight for his place. But I wonder if he'll still feel the same in the summer if he hasn't managed to get any games by the end of the season.
Okay, and kind of tomorrow is the first is the game that could actually see Watford get the 40 points, which many believe will confirm their safety. They're playing Stoke. Kiki Sanchez-Flores has said that the Arsenal win will be good for Watford in terms of morale in the final 8 games. What are your views on this game?
Yeah, so a big win like that against Arsenal, it's a difficult one to call because it does go two ways. It can boost your morale for the whole team and everyone gets up for the fight. But many times I've seen clubs go the other way where they're having a big cup final and they sort of lose concentration on the league and then their form starts to dip. I wouldn't expect that to happen with Watford because Sanchez-Flores is meticulous in his preparation, and I'm sure he won't let that happen. It's going to be a tough game, though. I'm quite concerned about this one. The way we played an incredibly well game earlier in the season and beat them 2-0, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's a draw tomorrow.
Okay. Stoke have got 1-2 injury worries.
Yes, Stoke. See that this could help us out because they've got Shaqiri and Shawcross, 2 of their main stars, are injured. So that could help us out, and that could maybe tip it in our favour. Let's hope so. Watford are keeping very quiet about their injuries, which is rare for them. Actually, they normally early in the week say what's happening. But it's weird. We don't know who's injured at Watford at the moment and who's not. So it'll be a surprise squad maybe tomorrow.
Okay, so you're predicting a draw. Well, okay, we'll hold you to that.
There'll be a goal each, 1-1. I'm saying, I think.
Okay, great. Now Kings Langley, they continue just to march on and on and on to automatic promotion.
Wow, incredible stuff. Yep, they're on a massive winning streak. They're not dropping points. 2-0 against Aylesbury last week, who were bidding to get in the playoffs, so it's a really good win. Sat firm at the top of the table, and it's all in their hands now. It's incredible, and really exciting times.
And they are away to Potters Bar tomorrow, Potters Bar Town.
Yeah, Potters Bar, who are quite a bit lower down the league in 12th position. No games easy, but they're in 12th place. They played 2 more games than Kings Langley, and they'll be disappointed if they don't get win out of the game tomorrow, Kings Langley.
Okay. Fullerians have been on a brilliant run where I think they've won 9 consecutive games, and it all came to a jarring halt last Saturday in the Intermediate Cup.
Yeah, unfortunately, the step up in quality playing Tunbridge Wells, 53-0 they lost. That's a hammering by any standards. This is what happens in cup games at that level. You end up playing someone who's much better than you. It's happened to me many a times in football. You're doing really well, you get through a few rounds, you get really hopeful, and even if you're top of your league, and then all of a sudden you play someone much better. So they'll be happy to get back to the league tomorrow, I think, and try to keep at least their league winning run going. But such a hammering defeat, I'm sure they've got some bruises and bumps from it, and it could have really knocked their confidence. Let's hope not.
Yep, and tomorrow they're away to Tabard.
Yep, tomorrow 3 o'clock. Who are in 10th in the league currently.
Okay, and West Herts Hockey won their 4th game in a row.
Yeah, so after looking like West Herts were going to be relegated, 4 wins on the trot. It's come out of nowhere, really. Their form's completely turned around, and now it looks like they're going to be safe and keep their Premiership spot, and therefore add to what the rest of the club are doing, because the rest of the club's basically having its best season ever. The women getting promoted, the second team getting promoted, and keeping the men's first team in the league as well. That's it's the best season ever for them.
Okay, well that's great news. Thank you very much, and it's good to see you back.
Just a couple of quick things that I found out just before, so I didn't get them on the running order. Sorry. There's a couple of running events this weekend, both on Sunday. Watford Harriers have got the Junior Challenge on Sunday in Casbury Park. They're meeting at where the Char Cafe is, and it's a 9:30 registration for a 10 o'clock start. There's a few different lengths of race, and it's to get the juniors out in the park and running. So if anyone wants to get along to that, that'll be good. And the other one is the Rickmansworth Mile, which is at Ricky Aquadrome, and that starts at 10 a.m. and they have 3 different race events: 1 mile, 3 mile, and 6 miles.
Okay, well, I knew about the Ricky one, and Catherine was going to talk about that, but thank you very much for that, Neil. And, thank you for, I was going to say thank you for filling in for David Anderson, but no, that was unfair. That was unfair. But thank you very much, and we'll no doubt hear about the Stoke game next week.
Good to be back. Speak soon.
See you soon. Okay. Now, Chris, are you back with us?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Good, good. Now, the reason why you're back on is that last week we talked a bit about the coffee union. Well, it's now already starting to get up and running. So I thought perhaps you could come on and tell us a little bit about what's happening in the South West Herts area and list some of the shops that are taking part in this scheme.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm going to do. Now, I'm just going to find some paperwork.
Chris, I've got it on full screen. I've got the poster that Catherine, or the leaflet that Catherine designed, up on the screen for you.
So, yeah, so that little fella there is the leaflet. So what we've got 2 things being produced, and this is to promote the coffee shop union. Now, one of the things is once people have sort of agreed they're going to be part of it, then they get a little vinyl sticker, which is the first screen there, and they can pop that on their window so it can be seen from outside. And the purpose of that is to basically say we are subscribing, we are part of the coffee shop union, and we're signing up to agree to do certain things, like have a community focus, like buy products locally wherever possible, act in terms of being a sustainable model, all these kinds of things which basically will enable people to make a decision about, well, actually, would I rather support a local independent coffee shop who is going to provide me with information about what's going on locally, who's going to essentially talk to me if I go in there, and more often than not actually introduce me to other people who live in the area. So if you like, what we're comparing with, what we're comparing this with, and what we're kind of measuring it up against is the rather sterile experience of going into one of the big multiple coffee shop chains, where the people in there are just doing a job. If you go in there on your own, you're going to stay alone. If you go in there with somebody, you're going to talk to that person but nobody else. And it's not actually an incredibly friendly atmosphere. It's functional, great coffee, great, well, not necessarily great service, but you get a very standard, basically deliverable, a bit like McDonald's and some of these other big chains, but it isn't actually very community focused, and it's not really helping what we're trying to do within Link for Growth, which is essentially get people talking to each other. So by introducing the coffee shop union, we're saying here are a bunch of coffee shops who have signed up to a mantra of giving good quality, locally sourced product wherever possible, sustainable products wherever possible, but who are going to greet you with a smile, have a chat with you, share local knowledge and information, and basically help us to re-establish community at grassroots level. And if they also want to run events like Link for Business, like we saw earlier today, where we're going to be running a Link for Business, that's a local independent coffee shop. We've got Reason Cafe with Neal, who's already doing much of what we're talking about here, becoming a sort of hub service to the local community. And of course, Kitchen down in Croxley, they're already signed up to it already, and they've already got their stickers in the window. You'll be pleased to hear, Catherine. So your work already on display down there. So great news. I think all of the coffee shops do kind of talk in one shape or form. I'm going to be down at, or somebody's going to be down at OB Coffee Company on Monday. We'll be talking to them about joining in as well. There's about 15 to 20 of these coffee shops in the local area who could potentially participate in this. They're going to get so much support as well, because they're going to be on this TV show. They're going to be in on the district website page that we've got. There's going to be the coffee shop union is going to be their pride of place, because it's the first sort of initiative of rebuilding and reconnecting the local businesses in that club that's a very important part of Link for Business. And we're going to do, and you've got to keep your ears pinned here, Catherine, because write this down. We're going to have the next one's going to be hospitality union. We're going to have health and wellness union, and we're going to have marketing services union. Right, so they're the next three. Get busy designing those leaflets and stuff, Catherine, because they're the next ones that we're going to be driving out there, because the more of these little unions we can get, they're like power groups. They're like people that are really igniting local business and helping to grow local communities. So I don't know whether you can tell, I'm quite excited about this. And I think it's going to be fantastic for the local community and local business. Because to be honest, you know, Tania, you can join in with the health and wellness one, no problem at all. Catherine, you can join in with the marketing one, no problem. Diane, you can join in with the marketing one. You got a marketing show going on where you can bring people on to. There's no end to the cross-overlap interaction that we can have here. Neal's already involved, you know, so, you know, hey presto, look at it.
What was the other one? Marketing, health and wellness,
and hospitality.
Okay.
We're just lagging behind, aren't we? We're just slow coaches, Chris. We just we're not keeping up.
We're not.
Okay. Well, having been severely reprimanded by Mr. Ogle for lack of progress and not keeping up and everything, I think we'll move on. Catherine. Do you want to talk about football or anything else, or do you just want to talk about events?
Let's talk about some culture in Watford, shall we?
Right, let's do that. So, I think Radio 2 have been running a short story competition recently, and the Watford Observer have taken up the handle to do a local initiative or a local version of it.
Yeah, absolutely. This is part of the first Watford Literary Festival in the town. This is part of the big word fest. The Watford Observer is actually running a short story competition, and it's going to feature in two age groups. The first is 12 to 18-year-olds, and then the other age group is adults. So you can write a story between 500 and 1,000 words, submit it to the Watford Observer, and it will be judged. I think you have to submit your entries by April the 1st. The theme for your story, now the whole of the word fest is all centred around events marking the 400th anniversary of William Shakespeare's death, and also the 100th birthday of Roald Dahl. So you've got a birth and a death anniversary there. It's a bit of a mix-up, but they form nice round numbers. So we're celebrating all this with lots of literary things going on, and writing a short story and entering a competition is one of them. So your theme has to be around either one of the writers, or it could be around one of the stories that they've written. So you could write about the fairies at the bottom of your garden, inspired by A Midsummer Night's Dream, of course, by William Shakespeare. So I say entries in by the 1st of April. The judges are going to be best-selling author and playwright Tania Clarke, councillor Peter Taylor, Morag Watkins, Cheryl Sherville from Chorleywood Bookshop, who do a lot of book promotion and a lot of great work with literary characters up and down the country, and features editor Melanie Anglesey, and Brunel University creative writing graduate and published writer Kelly Pells. So there's lots of well-known names there in the literary world who will be judging the entries. So entries in by the 1st of April.
Okay, that's great. And we've talked about previewing this and asking for people to volunteer for it. And the Peace Hospice have finally held their Strictly Come Hospice dance 25th anniversary dance competition.
Yeah, this was last Sunday to a packed-out Watersmeet Theatre. It really was a sellout. Over the last 7 weeks, there have been I think it's 27 participants learning all the different dances, as you see on Strictly Come Dancing on the telly. Well, they've been doing it locally. So all these couples have been learning the cha-cha-cha and the Argentine tango and the such like. Well, it was a brilliant night by the sound of it. The judges crowned Jess Hall and Anthony Smith from Abbots Langley, the winners of the evening, for their Argentine tango. So, there's a quote from Jess that says, "We were never in it to win it. We just wanted to have some fun and to give back to the Peace Hospice Care for supporting me and my family over the last few years." So this is what the event was all about. Obviously raising awareness, but raising money as well for the Peace Hospice. And over the course of the 7 weeks, and for the final event, of course, as well at Watersmeet, they raised £20,000, which is a pretty spectacular sum, considering that the hospice needs to raise over £5 million every year in order to run. Actually, there's still lots more work to do. Peace Hospice have loads of events going on. You can always find something to do to support them, and it's a fabulous thing to support. Diane, you've gone mute.
I have. I was busy coughing and I was trying not to cough on air earlier. Crocsfest. They're still looking for bands. There's still time to apply for 2016.
That's right, yeah. We don't actually have a date for Crocsfest yet. It's usually sometime in September. So it's usually sort of enjoying some of the last summery days of the summer season. And everybody camps out on Crotchley Green for the afternoon. It usually runs from about noon till about 8 o'clock in the evening. And every hour there's a different live band. We've been before. It's a fabulous family fun day out. It really is. There's lots of stalls. You can buy food, you can buy drinks. They don't sell alcohol at all, but you can bring your own. You can bring a picnic, some comfy chairs, everything as well. But yes, they're asking for bands at the moment. So any bands that want to take part, they always have a huge array of different bands, all different sorts of music. So it doesn't matter what your, what your preference is. They're asking for any bands that want to come and take part to get in touch, and you can get in touch through their website, which is crocsfest.co.uk/bands.
Okay, very briefly, because Neal's already talked about this one, Sport Relief Mile is on Sunday at Rickmansworth Aquadrome. Yes,
Sunday, 20th of March at the Aquadrome. Rather. Go along, take part, support the day. The event kicks off at 10:30 in the morning. There's lots of games and activities. There's different start times for the different excuse me, for the different distances. The 6 mile walk starts at 12 o'clock, 3 miles is at 12:15, and the 1 mile is at 12:30. So something for all abilities there. So yeah, get yourself along to Rickmansworth.
Okay, that's great. Now, before then, you might want an evening out at Attico tomorrow night.
Yeah, we'll be there. You'll be clicking away, taking photos once again, as you always do, and we'll be there supporting the acts. This looks like it's going to be a fun evening, and Yellow Comedy very rarely disappoint when it comes to entertaining the crowd. I would imagine there'll be quite a big crowd there, so be wise to get there early. Doors open at 7. Comedy starts at 7:30. The headline act is Andy Gleeks. But also appearing will be Clinton Baptiste, who a lot of people may know from Phoenix Nights, from being on the telly. It should be a fun evening. Other acts are Zara Brown, Adele Cliff, and Yellow Comedy Queen of Hearts 2015, Sandra Hale. There's also Chris Stokes and Carl Wallace, and our MC for the evening will be the ever-glamorous Andrew Carberry, freshly back from his stag do, so hopefully he's sobered up.
Yes. And of course, for Yellow Comedy, it's free to get in, and then you make a donation to get out.
Indeed.
Right, that should be a really good evening. I mean, the last one for the Women's Centre was also at Attico, and there was a nice big crowd there, and it does help the comics deliver their best when they've got a better audience, doesn't it?
It was a fabulous night, actually, wasn't it? It was packed out, the fullest I've ever seen it, actually. So, yeah, if we can do that again tomorrow night, that'd be fab.
Would be fab. Now, Dad's Army is coming to the Palace.
Yes, yes. Well, there's for those that don't know, the Palace Theatre doesn't just do theatre; it does film as well. Yeah, Dad's Army is showing on Sunday. Sunday the 20th of March. There's an 11 o'clock showing in the morning and a 7 o'clock showing in the evening. Tickets are very reasonably priced. I'll tell you how much they are in a moment. I can't find the. I can't find. Oh, there we go. It's £8. £8 to go and see the film there. But it's a fantastic venue. It's nice and comfy. It's in the middle of the town centre. You know, you could see a film, pop out to lunch somewhere, do your shopping, and you know, have a fabulous day. So the Dad's Army showings are 11 in the morning and 7 in the evening. They're also showing on Sunday. This is a new film, The Big Short, and this is starring Brad Pitt. So this is Sunday again, but in the afternoon. This is at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Again, £8, £6.50 concessions. If you're aged between 16 and 25, the Palace Theatre actually do something called rumour tickets, which you just have to subscribe to online, and that means that students can get in for £4, which of course is half price, an absolute bargain. So this particular film, The Big Short, Brad Pitt's new film, that's on at 2 o'clock on Sunday as well. So a bit of a film fest going on there on Sunday.
Okay, and on later in the week they've got something completely different.
Yeah, absolutely. As I say, I mean, you know, there's theatre, there's drama, there's music, there's film, and there's dance that goes on at the Palace Theatre as well. This is a show called Yerma. It's a story about a woman who suffers the heartbreaking social torment of a childless marriage, forces her to commit a horrific and irrevocable act. This is reimagined and made relevant by, now here's a challenge for me, Amina Khayyam, for modern Britain and Europe's new marginalised communities. So this is a dance production. It's performed to live music with tabla, cello and vocals, featuring world-renowned musicians. It sounds like something very different. So if music and dance is your thing, this is on Tuesday the 22nd of March. That's next Tuesday, 7:30. Tickets are £17.50, £15 and £12.50. Concessions £4 off. And again, if you're a student, you can get in for £5 using your river ticket.
Okay, that's great. Now, it's not just the Palace that's going to be busy, it's the Coliseum as well. And they have, is it Calabro coming in the next couple of days?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Tuesday night, if you don't fancy the dance thing, go along to the Coliseum and see Calabro, like we'll be doing. Calabro were 2014 Britain's Got Talent winners. They're a musical fivesome, and they sing all sorts of things, musical theatre songs, all the classics, all the anthems. So it should be a really, really good night. There may still be a few tickets left, but I know that it was selling pretty quickly when it was first announced a few months ago. So yeah, that's one to get along to. If that's not your thing and you want something a little more old-fashioned but just as good, then Lulu will be in town on Friday. And yeah, we're going to that one too. It was Nick's birthday present, so we're always a big fan of Lulu. So she'll be rocking the Coliseum on Friday evening. And again, you know, you'll be lucky to get any tickets if there are left, but it's definitely worth having a look. It should be a fantastic event. And what I was going to mention very, very briefly before each of the performances, what Watford Coliseum does these days as a regular thing is to have a local live band in the lobby before the performance. So on Tuesday evening there will be Josh Robinson, who's a lad from Hemel, who will be singing and playing guitar. He's just about to release an EP, and you can often see him busking around London and Watford. On Friday, I don't know where she's from, but she's local somewhere. This is Minnie Birch. And she's done various things, including a tour supporting Joan Armour Trading. So she's obviously quite well known on the musical circuits as well. So the Lobby Live presentations are free. You don't have to be going to see the show to go to the lobby. You can have a drink, sit and listen to the music. It's free of charge, showcasing local independent talent. So that's a great thing.
Okay, and talking of local and independent talent, the Horns have got their usual gigs on this weekend?
They have, yes. They've got DJ Wayne on tonight, if that's your thing. 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and more. I'm guessing that's 2000s as well. Then. So Saturday night they've got Sugar Rush, who are a 4-piece pop rock powerhouse. So they're doing all the sorts of anthemic things from Status Quo, Elton John, Madonna, Sting, Paul Young, and that sort of thing. On Sunday at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, they've got Last Resort, who perform soul covers. And then on Monday evenings, they've got their usual local indie acts night. So if you're a local independent band, you can go along and showcase your stuff for free on Monday night. So, yeah, great things going on at the Horns.
Okay, thank you very much, Catherine. And I know you're going to be back a bit later with a restaurant review.
Indeed.
Great.
Before you move on to the Link for Growth things, Diane, can I just say that I heard Minnie Birch that Catherine's just mentioned on Monday evening, and she was amazing. If you can get down there next Thursday night to hear her, really, really good. Really lovely to listen to.
Don't go on Thursday, though, go on Friday.
Really?
Yeah. She's in the lobby live on Friday the 25th of March, supporting On Before Lulu.
Okay, well that's different from what she herself posted out earlier today.
Oh, good. There as well. Actually, yeah, she may well be there as well. Maybe they do 2 or 3 nights. I don't know.
Well, you'll be doing Link for Business on the Thursday, of course, so you won't be going on that.
Well, obviously, I mean, who isn't doing Link for Business? So yeah, we'll see her on Friday.
So she's going to be there on the Friday then?
Yes.
Well, okay. Look, that was it's great that Tania can vouch as to the quality of the free acts that are available.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, we've seen a couple as well in the Colosseum, and they really are top-notch quality. And I say to think you can just wander in and listen to this for free. You don't have to be seeing the show in the Colosseum that evening. You can just listen to the music. It's brilliant.
Okay, that's great. Tomorrow, Link for Growth next week. There are 3 events happening in South West Hertfordshire. On Saturday, Chris will be down at Barracuda again between 10 and 11:30 to answer any questions that people may have about Link for Growth. Barracuda is if you're not quite sure, it's a restaurant stroke coffee shop that is next to the High Street entrance of the market the flyover. On Sunday, there's the Link for Growth breakfast at the Junction Cafe between 10 and 12. Junction Cafe is in St Albans Road, and I'm told there that the breakfasts are absolutely excellent. And then on Monday, there's going to, as Chris already mentioned earlier on, there's going to be a Link for Coffee between 10 and 11:30 at Ocean Bells. And Ocean Bells is the coffee shop down near the Ask Pizza restaurant in the High Street, the bottom end of the main High Street. Catherine.
Yes.
Do you have a restaurant review?
Indeed I do. And we're not in Watford this week. We had a deal, a Groupon voucher deal, that basically meant that we were introduced to a brand new restaurant. They've been open for about 18 months in St Albans, and they were doing a promotion to obviously tell a few more people about who they are, where they are, what they do. So this restaurant is the Olive Tree Lounge. It's not far from the mainline station in St Albans. If you just come back a little bit into towards the city, you'll find it down there. But I'll post the link up and anybody can have a look at it. So it's I was about to say it's Italian. It isn't really. It's kind of Mediterranean sort of menu. So we enjoyed the deal that we had was a sort of surf and turf. So we had a top-notch steak with some little scallops and some prawns and things, and the most beautiful tomato sauce over it. I'm not talking ketchup here. I'm talking a proper sauce with a couple of sides. Very, very welcoming. Lovely, lovely decor in there. Very, very smart. So perhaps a decent shirt to go and visit this restaurant, you know, rather than your sloppy joes. But yeah, it was a lovely, lovely atmosphere. Decently priced. I would thoroughly recommend it if you fancy a nice evening out, perhaps a business meal, perhaps even a romantic meal as well. There was some nice little lighting areas going on there as well. So yeah, I would recommend the Olive Tree Lounge if you fancy something a little bit different for a celebration or just a meal out.
Okay, that's absolutely great. Thank you very much for that review, Catherine. And as usual, the restaurant review ends our show for the week. We will be back next Thursday at 4 o'clock because next Friday is Easter Friday, Good Friday. So we will be on next Thursday. We'll be bringing you as many things to do over the Easter weekend that we can find. So it's going to be quite a challenge for us to get as many events as we can so that you can fill your diary with a weekend of going from place to place and enjoying some of the sights and sounds that Watford has on, and Rickmansworth and Bushy have on offer. So something a bit different next week, which will be, as I said, on Thursday, and it's kind of like an entertainment special. So we'll look forward to seeing you all then. In the meantime, thank you very much, Tania.
Thanks, Diane. Thanks, everybody. Have fun.
And also thanks to Neal for the sports. And also and also thanks to Chris for telling us about Link for Business, which again, quick reminder, starts next Thursday evening, and also for the Coffee Union information. And finally, thank you to Catherine for everything.
Thank you. I look forward to seeing you for our Easter extra special extravaganza.
Oh dear. We're going to have to work on your punning.
Yeah, I'll have any of that next week.
On that fantastic note, it's time to say cheerio. Bye-bye.